All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the Miami Dolphins currently find themselves in the midst of battling for a playoff berth as they're looking to end their postseason drought, which dates back to the 2016 NFL season. Now, 1 month ago, the Dolphins were rolling. They were 8-3. They appeared to be a lock to make the playoffs. And then on top of that, they were right in contention with the Buffalo Bills for the top spot in the AFC East. But since then, Miami has been mired by a 4 game losing streak that saw them drop some tough road games, 3 of them. First to the San Francisco 49ers, then to the Los Angeles Chargers, and then to the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo loss might have been the hardest pill to swallow for the Dolphins, as that was a very winnable game. They were right there, it was right within their grasp, and Miami was unable to seal the deal. Now, the Dolphins were back home today for their first home game in a month as they hosted the Green Bay Packers and they look to get back on track. But in this contest today, Miami would blow a 10-point lead while they were blanked on the scoreboard in the second half altogether. And a big reason for that was the play of their starting quarterback. Now, Dolphins starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa threw 3 interceptions today, all in the fourth quarter, which just sucked the life out of this team. And the clouds of doubt are hanging around this team right now at the most inopportune time. And I say that because at this point of the year, uh, mid to late December and just December as a whole, if you're a team that has your sights on getting to the postseason, this is when you want to start playing your best football. And right now, Miami is not playing their best football, and it's a doggone shame. For me, when it comes to Tua, there's no more excuses because Miami has given you everything that you need to go out there and succeed. We saw Miami draft Jalen Waddle at wide receiver. You then go out there and make the big trade to get Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. You've beefed up the offensive line with Terran Armstead and Eric Fisher. You go out there and add a running back like Raheem Mostert. You still got Mike Gesicki at tight end. We've even seen the Dolphins beef up their defense, making a trade with Denver for Bradley Chubb. You also have a guy like Jalen Phillips to rush the passer as well. So if you're Tua, there's really no excuse for you to not go out there and get it done. And this is a time of the year where teams and quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks, need to elevate their game to the next level. And right now, Tua is not doing that. You look in the last 4 games for Tua, 5 interceptions and 6 touchdowns. And you think about this 4 game losing streak that Miami's on. Against San Francisco, Tua was 18 of 33 for 295, a 54% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Against the Chargers, a 23-17 loss, just 10 of 28 passing, a completion percentage of just under 36%, 1 touchdown, no picks. Last week against the Bills, 17 to 30 passing for 234, 2 TDs, no picks, and of course, a completion percentage of just under 57%. And then today against Green Bay, 16 to 25 for 310, 64% completion percentage, but 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. And you look at some of the picks that Tua was out there throwing, and I'm not sure who he was throwing to because it was one of those where it looked like he was throwing to the Green Bay guy more than he was looking to throw to his own receivers. And because of that, it really cost this Dolphins team. So I'm looking at it right now. Tua has had this reputation and it's followed him as far as being in with the Dolphins in the NFL, as far as being unable to come up in these scenarios. You think back to Week 17 of the 2020 season where the Dolphins had a win and in scenario, and Tua and his Dolphins team stunk it up as they lost 56 to 26. And Tua played some bad football that afternoon, and he played some bad football that year in general. You think about last year's slow start. I know all of that cannot be on Tua as he was hurt, but nonetheless, the Dolphins failed to come get to the postseason again. And you look at this year's team. The Dolphins, offensively and defensively, are just too talented to miss the postseason, and they've got to find a way to go out there and close this deal. They were sitting pretty again a couple of weeks ago. Now they're in that seventh spot, and they're going to be there regardless of what happens tomorrow night with the Chargers because the Chargers own the tiebreaker over Miami anyway. But if the Chargers win, they're in. But then you look at Miami, they got to find a way to hold off New England, the Jets, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh, and even the Las Vegas Raiders, who are still alive. And for Miami, the last two teams that they played, they're at New England this Sunday, and then they finish up at home with the Jets. But honestly, it's gut check time. And if you're Tua, you got to find a way to play better. And you're struggling, and now you got to go up against a Bill Belichick coordinated defense, which is not going to be easy. So the bottom line is the Dolphins made this as easy as possible for Tua. And I'm not saying playing quarterback in the NFL is easy, but I'm saying it from the standpoint that they've given you everything and you still can't get it done. And I guarantee you, if for what reason that the Dolphins fail to get to the postseason this year, I guarantee you that there's going to be a lot of people in South Florida who, if they already are not, questioning Tua Tagovailoa's ability, they darn sure are going to be questioning it now. Because again, Tyreek Hill, world class speed. Jalen Waddle, world class speed. You have a defense that can get after you. You have a solid offensive line. You can run the ball. There's no more excuses for Tua. The bottom line is these next 2 weeks are going to define his career with the Dolphins, and they're also going to define his career in the NFL. Because I guarantee you this, if Tua can't get it done in the next 2 weeks and get this team to the postseason, there's going to be a lot of questioning heading around the Dolphins heading into next season. The bottom line is, in the fourth quarter, he came up short today. At the end of the day, hope does spring eternal. So hopefully, for the sake of Tua and the Dolphins, he can get it turned around next week against New England. It's put up or shut up time for him and this team right now. And if he can't get it done, brother, I simply don't know what to say. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.